While I've probably milked every last drip out of mock preparation videos, it feels like a good time to recap the last week and think about what changes we've seen, how those changes might affect your plans going into Mr. Pandaria, and ultimately, there's still quite a few days left of the pre-patch. What should you be getting done? Because some of these things you might regret not getting done if we go into Mr. Pandaria and you're like, I knew I forgot something. Because quite honestly, a lot of this stuff I've only just started doing myself. Because I've spent the last couple of weeks basically just having a great time raiding on multiple monks, gearing up multiple monks, and some of the basic prep that I've wanted to achieve has kind of gone by the wayside, so I've started doing it now. So as a little reminder, you should start doing it now as well. If you want to see me stream, I stream over on kick.com/Scottejaye. Come over and give us a follow and say hello. Normally I'm streaming like 10 to 12 hours a day, but no one's seen me over there for the last couple of days because I've been without internet of all things. But anyway, firstly, get your scenario done. I've literally done it for the first time with a pre-patch today, and yes, we already knew it was going to be very quick and very easy, but there are limited time rewards that you're going to want to get a hold of, and also the feat of strength. If you've got both Alliance and Horde characters, I would recommend getting it done on both, because when you complete it as Alliance, you're going to get the Theramore Tabard, and then when you do it as Horde, you're going to get the Mini Mana Bomb. They're both purely cosmetic toys, they don't do anything, so if you do miss it, don't worry too much, but if you're a bit of a collector, you might as well just get in and get it done for the sake of 10 minutes on each character. I'm not going to go through the list of gear that comes through it, but there is a bunch of 384 gear you can get as well, but quite honestly, most people are just going to be running around in full Twilight gear, which basically trumps all of these items anyway. If only they added a leather pair of legs, that would have really helped the monks not having to get crafted legs all the time. You live and learn. Now, getting your 4K caps. Now, what I mean by this is going in with full honor and full justice points, so you've got 4K of both. Neither of these are going to reset. You'll be able to go into Mr. Pandaria with these, and they're going to help tremendously, because there's that magic eye level being 435 eye level to be able to get into random heroics using random dungeon finder. Of course, you can ding level 90 and instantly walk into heroic dungeons with a full 5-man group and do walk-ins, which a lot of people will be doing. But ideally, what we all want to be doing is getting to 435 eye level as soon as possible so we can actually use the random dungeon finder tool. Now, if you go in with your cap, you're going to be able to instantly buy a couple of pieces of honor gear, a couple of pieces of justice point gear, and with the gear that you've actually acquired by questing on the way to level 90 or doing dungeons or whatever you chose to do, you're probably not going to be that far off. Now, this is where the first piece of news comes in for the week, because Blizzard have hotfixed the Honorable Mention perk. So this is the perk that ordinarily gives you 10% extra honor in Battlegrounds. Well, now just during the pre-patch is giving 250% honor. The reason for this is because the honor gains match that of Mr. Pandaria at the moment, but because we're in the pre-patch, we're getting really small amounts of honor because they're technically lower level Battlegrounds. But with them buffing this up to 250% means getting your 4K honor cap doesn't take that long as you do the right things. Now, even though my fixation is around getting 435 eye level to use random dungeon finder at level 90, this is actually more useful than you might realize, because getting a few PvP pieces are going to get you off to a really good start, because most classes, and I would actually say all classes, are going to have some conquest PvP pieces that are going to be pre-raid bis. So actually getting a bit of a head start on PvP gear anyway is only going to help you, because you're going to have very limited time from when the PvP season starts to when the raids actually open. Literally a day, 2 days max, depending on what region you're in. So even having this honor to buy a couple of PvP trinkets straight away, and you're not even thinking about just getting 435 eye level to get into raids, you're actually planning this honor use around getting the best items that you can to get into 2v2, 3v3, or just random battlegrounds and getting conquest for the wins. This is actually more useful than just getting enough eye level to get into random dungeon finder. It's also going to help you with those couple of days where you do want to get as much conquest as possible to get those items for pre-raid bis. Now, the quickest way is hands down Wintergrasp. Now, Toll Barrett's a good option as well, don't get me wrong, but I've personally just been doing Wintergrasp, and every time Wintergrasp is available, I'm just doing one battle on each of my monks. Now, if you can get the quests done as well, the quests give amazing honor. So if your only goal is just to cap the 4K honor, I don't see the point of doing anything else. Now, up until the point of making this video, it has been bugged on the UI, and it would show that it's only actually active once a day. But just don't go by that, just go by the fact that it starts at, let's say, midday, and every 3 hours after that. For a loss and a couple of quests completed, I've got as much as 2.5k, so over halfway to capping, whereas if I was doing something like Eye of the Storm, where it was actually a victory, it was around 250 honor. So if we're talking about the most efficient way to do it, literally just doing Wintergrasp every few hours until all of your characters have hit 4k, in actual time spent PvPing, it is just so efficient. Literally, a loss with 0 quests was still over 1,000 honor, so do that 4 times over the the next few days and you're absolutely golden. Now, honestly, getting Justice points is an absolute no-brainer. Just spam Twilight Dungeons or just raid each week, whatever you're going to do. Just make sure that you've got 4k Justice points before you get to level 90. If you're not quite 4k, remember it's probably not going to matter because you'll get a little bit of Justice points on the way up when you're doing dungeons from 85 to 90 as well, even if you're just doing them for the first time for the quests. So don't worry too much about Justice points, but if you're like me, you just want to see it capped on all your characters so you know it's ticked off and it's done and you've not got to worry about it. And then really the last one is gear, because so many people have been saying to me like, well, what sort of eye level should I aim for Mr. Pandaria when it launches? Like, do I want full Twilight gear? Do I want to actually get in raids and get as much gear as possible? And quite honestly, outside of doing achievements or collectibles or doing pet battles, collecting pets, there's not really that much left to do in the pre-patch for those of us that have been spending far too much time on it. So I actually think getting as much gear as possible is definitely something that you should be doing. You've got to remember, if it turns out that you want to go on solo dungeons, then the higher eye level the better. We was doing tests of soloing things like Stormstout Brewery as a brewmaster or even Temple of the Jade Serpent, but we was doing it in template gear. At 378 eye level, it was pretty comfortable. If you imagine now being 402, 403 eye level and doing it, it's going to be mega fast. So yeah, while you might not think getting gear is important because it's all going to be replaced, it will just make those initial couple of levels faster. It means you're going to have to look at gear less when green items are dropping and you just know your gear is going to be better. The only items that you need to look at from quest rewards are going to be blue. And seriously, full Dragon Soul normal / heroic gear is absolutely fine to walk straight into Mr. Pandaria heroics with. So if you've got 5 of you that have just all been raiding, you've got full Dragon Soul gear, you haven't even got to worry about replacing any gear on your way up, unless it's a clearly very, very obvious upgrade and it's worth enchanting and all of that, because you'll have to take your enchanting to mind as well. And yeah, then you can just all ding level 90 and walk straight into random heroics. Now, there is another few things that you, of course, should be doing, like I mentioned in chance. Like, if there's those slots that you know you're going to upgrade early, if you have a quick look at the quests from things like Temple of the Jade Serpent or Stormstout Brewery, and you see you're going to get a belt or you're going to get bracers or you're going to get legs, making sure that you've got enchants in your bag ready just for those first initial items that you're going to replace. And of course, weapons are always a great one. Having a couple of landslides or a couple of major agilities or whatever in your bag ready, so you know as soon as you upgrade a weapon, you've not got to worry about the fact that, oh, but it's not enchanted. Just have a couple in your bag for that journey to 85 to 90. Again, I know that don't seem relevant now, but it really is relevant now because it's things that you should be sort of thinking about and getting ready in the pre-patch if you're going to take leveling sort of as seriously as I do. And then really, outside of making sure that you do start your pet battles and you do go in with a decent selection of level 25 pets when MOP launches, there's not that much else you should be doing. And you might be wondering, well, why? Why are you saying pet battles? What's relevant about that? Well, I do honestly think they're going to be a great way to subsidize XP, especially if you're on a ridiculously busy server. If you're running around questing and there's loads of people around and you can't get any tags, but there's just critters running around that you can do pet battles with while you just wait for people to just move on a little bit. You're not just standing around waiting to get XP. You've literally got things to do. And even if I end up soloing dungeons like I'm kind of planning on doing for at least a couple of levels, while I'm waiting for the instance lockout to reset, because I'm probably going to hit the cap, I'll be doing pet battles just outside the entrance. So it is something that's going to be useful for me, and I just would advise most people to at least get a bit of pet battling done so you've got the option, even if it's an option you don't end up using. And then one bonus thing I'm going to throw in, which I'll be honest with you, is for barely any of you. It's for barely only people that are as sad as me are going to do this, and that's capping on your archaeology fragments. Now, most of us have still got PTSD from the Cataclysm pre-patch where we spent so much time doing archaeology to try and get two-handed swords, trinkets, all of that jazz. But it does just mean when MOP goes live, you can train your archaeology up to 600 and then just spam solve loads of stuff. And I mean, who knows, you might get server first archaeology. I mean, I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it purely just so I can get it capped and then probably never do archaeology again. But that's just me. But as always, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe. Consider checking out Rested XP in the pinned comment in the description for the fastest way to level now in the pre-patch and in Mr. Pandaria. And you get your pre-quest stacking guide as well. Come follow me over on Kick, and I'll see you on the next one.